right?
Yeah.
So, what a law is, just so that everybody understands, a law is nothing more than an obligation. Okay. So an obligation can be seen from two different perspectives. From the one entitled, the obligation is a right. From the one bound, the obligation is a duty. So every single obligation creates both a right and a duty. It creates both. And that's what law does. So when you say that you have a law that's going to protect property from being stolen, then that would create the right to not have my property stolen, and at the same time, an obligation for me not to steal someone else's property. So a law creates both a right and an obligation. Now that's very, very important when you understand what it is, because when you look at public officials, for instance, and their breach of obligation, their breach of the law, well, that would also be the violation of the rights. So when you say that your rights have been violated, for instance, your child has been removed from you unlawfully by the state agent, when that happens, then your right to have that child protected and have that familial unit protected, that derives from someone else's duty to preserve and protect it, right? And therein lies the law. There's where the law arises. But if you don't understand the duties and responsibilities, the duties and rights and the doctrine of it, and how obligations are created in order to preserve both, create both the duty and preserve the right, then you can never win a case. You can never win an argument. And that's where most civil rights cases actually fail in procedural default that we see consistently, is that people come forward and they say that my right has been violated, but they don't understand that before you can have a right violated, you must first show that someone else had a duty to act and breach that duty, and you do that through an enforcement statute, through a crime, right? So when you say that this judge violated my rights, well, before that judge can violate right, you have to show that he breached the law, that he broke the law, and you don't do that through a misconduct board. You don't do that through an error or omission, because an error is not a crime, or misconduct is not a crime. But breaching the law, violating your right to have your child, that is a crime. And so you have to pursue the criminal element first, and that gives rise to your relief through the civil matter